All right, if you've heard of Awesome Golf, then I'm sure you already know that it's probably the most fun and family-friendly golf simulator softwares out there on the market. And we've reviewed Awesome Golf extensively here on the channel, and while a lot of people agree how much fun it can be, a question we keep getting in the comments is asking whether or not it's a good choice for the serious golfer. And the reality is that Awesome Golf is actually quite sneaky good when it comes to the level of detailed data and practice methods that serious golfers are looking for. And I totally understand if this is not entirely obvious, because some of these pro level features are little hidden gems that can be a bit harder to find if you don't know where to look for them. So for this video, what I figured we'd do is fire up the simulator and dig a little bit deeper into some of these new and even a little bit hidden features that I use all the time to practice and improve my game, and hopefully answer that question of whether or not Awesome Golf is a good fit for the serious golfer. So let's fire up the sim and dig right into it. All right, a quick reminder as we hop into this of two things that we really like about Awesome Golf that we covered extensively in our previous reviews, but it's worth mentioning here, is that one, it does not require a PC to run. You can run this on a mobile device, which makes it so that you can practice just about anywhere and you don't need to invest in a gaming PC to use it. The other thing that we like is that it works with a bunch of different launch monitors. So no matter which launch monitor you have, there's a good chance that you'll be able to run Awesome Golf. Here we're going to be running it with the Rapsodo MLM2PRO, which is a launch monitor we've tested extensively here on the channel, and I think it works really seamlessly with Awesome Golf. So we've got that all set up. Now we're going to hop into first the range. I'm going to show you how I first gather data, and then I want to dive into that brand new feature which allows you to dig very deep into those insights, look for trends, and again, the stuff that serious golfers are looking for. All right, so when it comes to this kind of data collection, where I like to start is first on the range and then going into shot by shot. And there you'll see there are two view options. One is a more detailed view, and that's what I really like because I can see everything on one screen. The good news is you can switch back and forth at any time. So let's hit a quick shot here with my 8-iron, and I'll be able to show you what some of that data looks like. All right, so you can see really quick, very little, if any, lag, and we've got all of our data in one spot. And now here's where that rubber really starts to meet the road. So what I'll do in my practice sessions is I will put in a bunch of shots here. Here I'll work my way through the bag, sometimes working on multiple clubs, sometimes working on an individual club. And all the while, as I'm doing this, it's gathering data. So I'm seeing that data live in real time, but at the same time, it's all happening in the background where it's all being stored directly into my account. And all the data, like I said, is very easy to understand. All the stuff that more serious golfers are looking for are right here, which helps for a really good practice session, especially if you're looking at specific numbers, things like carry distance, things like spin axis, flight direction, all of that is here. So all the while, it's gathering tons of data in the background that I can then access through that insights feature. And that to me is really where that rubber meets the road. So with a bunch of data, now let's jump into the computer. And like I said, this is that part that a lot of people weren't aware that Awesome Golf was able to do. So I'm gonna hop on the computer and I'm gonna show you what I mean. All right, so this right here is where the magic actually happens. Every single shot or swing that you take now on Awesome Golf is being stored in the background and saved to your account. So if we go to the Awesome Golf website, you'll now see at the top, there's a new Insights tab. So if I go into there, you'll see that it gives a little bit of detail about all the different insights that it's holding. And remember, obviously, the more shots you take, the more data you give it, the more that you'll have that you can go in and review. Here, just for the sake of demonstrating, I took 10 shots today. So it's instantaneous. As soon as I take them in the sim, it is automatically uploaded to the cloud and it's live to view it here on the computer. So let me log in and show you what I mean here. Okay, once logged in, you'll see we have the session that we just completed just minutes ago. For here, I used an 8-iron. If you use more than one club, all that data would be here. But the cool part about it is you can now see granularly every single shot and that individual data. For those of you who like to dive in even deeper and maybe have some of your own programs or otherwise that you like to run your stats through, there's also the option on the top right to export all this data in a CSV file format. So you can grab all your data, you don't have to just review it here, you can export it and you can dive in even deeper. But I really like how this looks, how this feels, and I'm able to kind of find everything I need right here. So we've got all of our individual shots, but perhaps even more importantly, down towards the bottom, we have all of our averages. So if I was working in this case on really dialing in my 8-iron and getting an idea of my average carry distance, you do have total here as well. I personally like to work with carry because it removes some of those other factors like ground firmness, etc., which you can set in Awesome Golf, another detail that is important for serious golfers. But working within carry, I can look and I can see all of my averages. I can look over here and I can see what the standard deviation is, like how much variability I have in my carry distance, as well as everything else, my ball speed. How much is my ball speed changing? This is where things like even just looking at how well fit your clubs are. Like if you're not striking it perfectly, are you still getting the ball speed numbers you want? You know, the height that you're hitting the ball. I really have in the past learned more and more about how important it is to have a consistent height window. So you have all of that. And if you want, you can even go back to the top here and just select certain shots and it'll automatically average just those shots for you. So there is a whole lot in here that'll give you a lot of information about your session, about your clubs, and about your game. There's even far more than I can cover right now. You can even get in there, and there is a spots where you can look at your club distancing if you're working on gapping. The most important thing to know is that everything that you're doing now in Awesome Golf, there on the range, not only is visible while you're doing it, but it's all being stored. And like I said, this is the type of thing that is music to the ears of the more serious golfers who may love this program for the reasons we've talked about before. Like me personally, I use it to get my kids involved. I love some of the fun games that are on there where they're able to, sink ships or knock down buildings or, blow up bricks. There's some things like that I'll use with my kids or even for myself, making practice more fun because you're actually developing golf skills while having fun doing it. But because that is what most people see and know of Awesome Golf, they had no idea that you have all of this great detail as well. So that said, the next step that I do, now I'm kind of diving in, I've got my data. Where another place I'd say where the rubber meets the road is in my practice session and working on focused shots and focused practice. So let's hop back into the sim. I'm going to show you another thing that you may not realize that you could do with Awesome Golf, and it is the way that I would say I work this into my practice at least 3 or 4 times per week, and it's really helped me with my accuracy, both in distance and, going for those pins. So let me show you what I mean by that. We're gonna hop back into the sim now. All right, so after diving into those deeper insights, that new feature in Awesome Golf, then what I like to do is come back in and practice some shots. Now, in the past, we did a full review of Awesome Golf and we walked through each of the different game modes. There are quite a few, but a couple that stand out to me is first, the challenges. There are a number of different really fun skill building challenges in there that are also very engaging and unique and something we haven't really seen in other third-party softwares. You can also go in now and play some virtual golf. There is an ever-expanding list of 18-hole golf courses, so if you want to, after your warm-up practice session, take a look at your insights, then go out and play some golf, you can do that. But where I like to do this, and this is something that I will do a couple of times a week, this is one of my absolute favorite range, shot-by-shot practice methods in any of the softwares we've tested. And what this is called here is approach shots. This is something we've shown you guys before in previous reviews, but something that I haven't dove into. Again, some of these features that you may not otherwise know are there is something called a pin shuffle. So what I like to do is I turn on pin shuffle. You can set your yardages, you can set your number of shots, but what this does is it forces me out of that rhythm where sometimes we'll kind of get stuck like on the range, just hitting the same shot over and over. And it doesn't really match what you see on the golf course, which is a different shot required each time. So what I'll do is I'll turn on that pin shuffle, and then this way the system is forcing me to hit different shots. So I'll hit a couple of different targets in one spot, then it'll move me on to hitting a couple of other targets. All the while I'm working on those skills, and at the same time, I'm getting really this great look. I love the graphics that are in here. I love how quickly it reacts. I love how seamless this really is. And having those different targets, some different island greens and otherwise that are out there, helps keep the practice method really fun and really engaging. And all the while, it's also keeping a tally of how many greens I've hit. So it actually helps simulate some of the pressure on the golf course. When I start getting a personal best streak going, I obviously don't want to break it. So not only are we practicing the shots, but we're practicing the pressure that we would definitely feel on the golf course. All right, so hopefully this debunks the myth that Awesome Golf is not for serious golfers. And if you already own Awesome Golf, just know you are collecting all those insights, and all you have to do is go to the website, log in, and you'll be able to see all of that data. But more importantly, this is how I use Awesome Golf to practice all of the time. It's why it is one of our favorite third-party softwares, because not only do we use it oftentimes to get the kids involved and get them into the game and enjoying it, and it gives a kind of a refreshing take on what golf simulation could be, but for your serious golfers, you are getting those practice methods. You are getting all of that data. You can export all of that data and use it and crunch those numbers however you'd like. So a lot of really cool stuff going on under the hood for Awesome Golf. If you guys have any questions on this, make sure to drop them in the comments below, and we will see you guys in the next video.